Okay, here we are at the beginning of March. I'm feeling like crap, but in the game itself, some interesting things happened, I guess. We had attacks on the Finns and by the Finns, which resulted in them being pushed back significantly. We do see some casualties, though, on Trotsky's forces, and he can command so few units that it's actually kind of troublesome. We also see something else interesting there, which is that Miller was left alone, and without Trotsky attacking him full on, he landed a couple of units over in Narvik to basically extend the threat on Petrograd. There's no chance that they're going to take Petrograd, but by confusing the issue, by making a mess, by forcing Trotsky to use his forces in multiple places, they may tie them down for longer. That's their hope. Udenich is pretty much destroyed. The Latvians are undergoing their siege. The Poles came streaming in and pretty much grabbed what was nearby and nothing else. They're going to wait because they have a lot of reinforcements coming. It's just they wanted the early start to the war to try to throw a cog in the Bolsheviks' plans. Kirov has formed up a line against the Poles. He can't really completely ignore those Ukrainians, though, down in Bessarabia, and he can't go in and do anything about them. Well, he could, but that would be out of the question at this point. The main line, those partisans got cleared up by Kolchak, but we're seeing some disruption because the Reds have been moving forward, and they started that outflank against the south, which has been denied, but it's further weakened that line. It's not going to hold much longer. They're going to be falling back, and they've got a long area of no good terrain to try to fight in if they want to hold, which probably means they're going to lose this connection. One of the things with the game is, and a lot of games have this, the supply lines are based on the railroads, but the railroads are sparse enough in Russia that, except in areas near, say, the Moscow region, you can't maintain a continuous front easily that way. There's one added thing in one of the optional rules, which I'm playing with, allows you to also trace supply along river lines if they connect to a valid source. It's not as good as railways, but it would allow for a more extended position. But it does leave the interesting question of how this guy's in supply. Yeah, it looks like there's a river, but that river doesn't go anywhere. It turns into a minor river before it hits the supply line, and technically he's going to be out of supply, which is a shame. He's a good cav unit. Then again, Stalin decided to lose a unit out of supply because basically there's so many Bolshevik units on the board right now, and some of them are really, really weak 4-point guys who've taken 2 hits. They're never going to recover to anything useful, so letting them die is well worth it. We've got mud everywhere right now, which means that probably there's not going to be a lot of movement in this next turn. Got some exciting stuff coming up with Wrangel, with the Poles. And the Bolsheviks are starting to they got their first airplane and their first motorized unit in there as well. So their army is beginning to become more technological, which is going to give them, some interesting little pieces. They also have this Mongolian infantry, which I can't quite figure out what to do with. I'm not sure why it's in the game. I don't know if it played some key role. All right. I didn't draw events yet. I'll do that. Other than that, I guess we're good to go. Hey, I thought I'd just catch this moment because it shows a nice position. Maybe not the worst position in it, but of the collapse of the white line. We got that outflank cracking through down here where Denikin's going to have to pull out, but he's got units out of supply, so he may have to keep attacking to try to maintain his supply situation. We also had over here, I don't remember who that is, this dude. Yeah, it's unreadable. Dutov. Yeah, Dutov. He got affected by the high political value that the Allies, or the Whites, currently have. So this is the first time we had a major effect for this, other than like, oh, the headquarters isn't moving. Well, it wasn't going anywhere anyway. In this case, he was removed from the map, which cost 3 political points. And he'll be coming back at the end of the turn. But also, his units are out of supply now. And at the end of this turn, they're going to all be isolated, and they're going to take losses. But right now, we're seeing cracks in the line that he's been unable to patch. He was planning also to pull back. And now Kolchak's whole force is kind of stuck where it is. So here we are at the beginning of April in 20. Weather's gotten decent. It's cleared up everywhere. Polish offensive, well, they didn't push any further, really. They just kind of solidified their position a little bit. First time I'm using those little discs for railheads in a while, just because there's enough distance. They're really almost wasted counters as far as I'm concerned, but I guess there are times when they're useful, especially if you put the game down for a while. Kirov's trying to react to that attack. Up here in the north, Udinich is surrounded. The Latvians have been taken out. Udinich started pulling units out into Finland. That's kind of an iffy thing. One, in terms of rules, I'm not sure it's legal. But he could have pulled out, I think, to Murmansk or Archangel. I'm not as sure with Finland, but I always kind of fake things with this. But it also opened him up to an easier attack, but he should be out of there fairly soon. As to the line, well, the biggest thing is we're seeing the effects of Dutov's being removed from the map. Now, that's the last time that's going to happen unless the political points take a turn towards the Allies again. But there's a lot of isolated units there. I think one unit was destroyed, but it really did affect their withdrawal. Stalin did not. Tried to do an outflank. Down in the south, we're seeing not a lot of change since the last little photograph. The Whites have consolidated their line in a better position. They made a couple of attacks and drove the Reds off in a couple of places down here. But for the most part, the Reds have problems advancing. Their army's not good enough in terms of shock value. Anyway, we're also seeing Wrangel's forces coming in. They can take a lot of losses. They're good at defense because they can take the hits and then swing back with a couple good units. They have trouble on the offense. All right, that's about it for now.